pretty much exactly 10 years ago, I sent my first visa application to Taipei Mission here in Stockholm. Today, 10 years later, not only am I back here at Taipei Mission, I am actually in the middle of Ambassador Yao's office. Ambassador Yao, thank you so much for inviting me here. Can you just do a quick introduction of who you are and what is Taipei Mission?
Absolutely. Hey son, jag heter Vincent Yao. Jag kommer från Taiwan. Jag jobbar på Taipei Mission i Sverige. Swedish I can say.
Tell me this is gonna be in Swedish.
That's probably all I can say, yeah.
Wow.
But Vincent Yao is my name and I am Taiwan's representative in Sweden. Thank you for interviewing.
My honor, my honor. Wanted to bring you some gifts. I was not really sure what you wanted, if you wanted something Taiwanese or if you wanted something Swedish. So I decided to go with some taro because you're Taiwanese and all the Taiwanese love taro.
Thank you very much. It's very precious here in Stockholm because there's nowhere you can get this in Sweden.
Right. But then I also thought, since you are the Taiwan ambassador in Sweden, I should also give you something that you can find in both Taiwan and Sweden. So of course, we also have some JBW raw blueberry juice, which...
Wonderful. Can we find this in Taiwan?
Of course.
Oh, really?
jbw.tw/Lukas.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
As an ambassador, do you have something called like a normal week? How does your life look like?
It depends. I think it's seasonal. In Sweden, yeah.
Picking berries, picking mushrooms.
That's probably on weekends, but on weekdays, I used to be very busy before the end of the year, and then also in the spring. I think in the springtime, everybody tried to catch up on the work, wrap up things before holiday, before summer holiday. I remember in 1 week in May, we were so busy. After delivering a speech at a Rotary Club, my colleague and I had to fly to Malmö to take care of a delegation from Taiwan and flew back to Stockholm the next morning because we had a 2-day meeting here in Stockholm. So busy.
Yeah, that's great. It's right? great interest for Taiwan, it sounds.
Yeah,
it's good. You just came back yesterday from Almedalen as well. We had a speech.
That's right.
How did it go?
It went very well. And I heard from the moderator that it was the first seminar related to Taiwan during the Almedalen.
And for those of you who don't know, Almedalen is basically the biggest speech gathering event that we have for mostly politicians, but also other organizations and Taipei Mission as well.
Yeah, I was invited to give a speech over there, and the topic was Taiwan, an imperative partner to Europe and a partner of the Global Democratic Alliance.
Usually I record my videos in Taiwan with other foreigners, and I always ask them, how is it living in Taiwan? And since you are the ambassador of Taiwan, you should be the one having the best answer to that question. So how would you say it is living in Taiwan compared to living here in Sweden?
Well, living in Taiwan is very convenient. You know, Taiwan is very urbanized. 6 major cities. Each city has a population more than 2 million people. Every major city in Taiwan is much bigger than Stockholm.
Yes.
And very convenient. Here in Stockholm, maybe after certain hours that you don't have any place to go. But in Taiwan, basically you have doors open 24/7 all year round. Even in the middle of the night, it's still very safe to go out and to go everywhere. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, I agree. Especially like, because I'm from the countryside of Sweden as well. So for me, there's like nothing. We have to like go to the grocery store and shop for the whole week.
Right.
Because we cannot go to like 7-Eleven and get
That's
whatever
right.
we want.
That's right.
I just also wanted to take this opportunity to ask because 10 years ago I sent a visa application to this specific office because I wanted to go to Taiwan and study. At that time I had absolutely no idea about Taiwan, and it was my school who said you should go to Taiwan, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is, but sounds great. But I did know Taiwan because there's so many things when I grew up that was made in Taiwan. How do you want the Swedish population to get to know Taiwan? What should be like the first thing you want them to know about Taiwan?
Okay, I think you were right that because most Taiwanese business, small and medium-sized enterprises. So basically, Taiwan doesn't really have a major brand name. But I don't think we should focus on these major brand names. We should focus more on Taiwan and the cities in Taiwan being very safe, very friendly to, especially to foreigners. So I want the average Swedes to know that it is a safe and friendly place to live.
And as a Swede, I 100% confirm that Taiwan is the absolute safest place I've ever visited.
Secondly, I also want the Swedish people to know Taiwan has a lot of mountains. Basically,
Yes.
There's no mountain here. But Taiwan has 100 mountains that are taller than 3,000 meters. So if you like hiking on the mountains, Taiwan is the place to go.
Funny that you would mention that, because I actually talked to one of my Swedish friends yesterday. They love hiking as well. And they said, is there any place to hike? And I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like the only thing that everyone is doing.
Right.
They knew that Taiwan was so small and Sweden is so big.
Yeah.
And we're also known for our nature.
Right.
But we have like no mountains to
No
hike.
mountains.
So they were very, very surprised about that too. Earlier this year, we had the Swedish delegation coming to Taiwan. Their impression was that the average Swede has very good knowledge and understanding about Taiwan. Do you agree, or how would you say that the average Swede sees Taiwan?
Yes and no.
That's a great diplomatic answer.
Yes, the number of average Swedes well informed about Taiwan has been increasing. But I don't think the majority of the average Swede understand much about Taiwan. But I'm impressed that some Swedish people are getting more and more understanding about Taiwan. One day I was taking a cab, and the cab driver was talking about Taiwan and Taiwan-China relations. I was really surprised. Am I in Taiwan? The cab driver in Taiwan always talk about politics. That's a proof that there are some people understanding more about Taiwan right now. It's a good thing, right?
That's great. That's great. Last time I was in Sweden was 3 years ago, way before the pandemic, and it was also way before Ukraine-Russia situation. Do you feel like the view on Taiwan here in Sweden has changed either because of the pandemic or because of Ukraine-Russia?
Yeah, I mean, I have noticed that in the past couple of years, because of the pandemic, Taiwan has gained a lot more attention in Europe, not only in Sweden, but also in the entire Europe, because Taiwan was excluded from the World Health Organization, and I think a lot of European countries, democracies, try to help Taiwan. There are more and more attention to Taiwan because the media here and academic experts try to analyze the situation and compare Taiwan's situation with Ukraine's situation. So a lot more discussion about the security of Taiwan and democracy and freedom of Taiwan.
I've also lived in Taiwan for 11 years. Personally, I've noticed that pretty much every other foreigner, they come to Taiwan, and myself included, we come to Taiwan with a very short-term goal. For example, either learning Chinese or maybe finding like a temporary job, like as an English teacher for 1 to 3 years. So I feel like no foreigner is moving to Taiwan with like a long-term plan to settle down. How would we do to increase those number of foreigners who want to move to Taiwan to settle down? And is that even something that would be good for Taiwan?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually right now our government's policy to recruit more skilled immigrants to move to and live in Taiwan and work in Taiwan. So-called business gold cards. That is a 4-in-1 card, including a residence card, visa, work permit, and your ID in one card for foreigners. And now we've been promoting this cause very, very diligently here in Stockholm. And we want to recruit more skilled workers, immigrants like you, and some young Swedish people, and to move and work in Taiwan. That's our policy.
And if you do come to Taiwan, please look me up. I would love to help you once you've made it all the way to Taiwan as well. On a personal level, what would you say is the biggest difficulty leaving Taiwan, living here in Sweden?
I have to be honest, the long, very long and dark winter.
Okay.
It was pretty miserable.
Speaking about miserable, yesterday I made a video with the Taiwan Center for Mandarin Learning. Everyone agreed about the food. They said that the food was the most difficult thing, leaving Taiwan, coming to Sweden.
说冬天很冷也很暗，可是有正当理由不用出门，就是一直在家，我觉得很棒。但是东西真的非常不好吃，真的选择性真的非常少。
What do you think about Swedish food?
I agree, the food is very different. But I am actually surprised. The Swedish food are pretty good. I like köttbullar, especially the meatballs made by IKEA. It's very delicious.
Yeah.
Being in the US for over 14 years, you know, if we compare the food in North America and the food in Sweden, I think Swedish food are quite good, you know.
If you get to choose between Swedish köttbullar and Taiwanese dumpling.
Oh, don't make me do that.
Okay, yeah, next question. What were some things that surprised you in a positive way about Sweden?
Yeah, that's actually quite a lot. My favorite thing about Sweden is walking on the streets, because it's quite enjoyable walking on the streets. Most importantly, the cars will yield to the pedestrian, and that's very different.
Yes.
And it's quite dangerous to walk on the streets of Taipei.
I'm having like reverse culture shock coming back here. and
Exactly.
I think Swedish cars are getting annoyed by me because I go up to the crossing and I just wait, and then they stop.
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, exactly. And then they stop, but then they're like, come on, walk. And it's like, is this happening? Are you stopping for me? Okay. In case there are any Taiwanese people watching this video, thinking about moving to Sweden, what is your number one advice for Taiwanese people who want to move to Sweden long term?
Number one advice is that you need to first secure a job before you want to stay in Sweden, because the law has been revised over the past few years. And you need to pay a lot of tax to the Swedish government before you start to get the very good social welfare benefits here, right?
Yeah, get a job, pay taxes.
Pay taxes.
That pretty much sums up the Swedish life, I think.
Exactly.
And then my final question for you. After 2 years here in Sweden, what do you miss the most about Taiwan?
Tofu. Sticky tofu. I'm just kidding, but I miss my family the most, particularly in the past couple of years due to the pandemic.
Of course.
The pandemic is now very easy to travel. But when I visit my family back in Taiwan, I definitely go to Keelung Miaokou for the chou tofu, stinky tofu. Yeah, my hometown is Keelung.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have to say, Keelung Miaokou is the best night market in Taiwan.
Okay.
Go to Keelung Miaokou.
How? I'm going back to Taiwan next month, and I promise you that I will go to Keelung and have some
Please, yeah.
chou tofu, apparently.
Yeah.
And if that is something that you want to see, please do remember to subscribe to this channel and to like this video as well to show your support. And for those of you who are interested more about Taiwan, where can they go to find more information about Taiwan or Taipei Mission?
Well, please go to our website and our Facebook and Twitter. Actually, Instagram as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
And of course, you will have all those links down in the description as well. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lukas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.